Hey guys, Jonathan was out here for JM Sports 100 and the JM Sports Show. How is it going? I am here to make NFL picks for Week 5 in the 2014 NFL season. We are already 1-0 on the week as we had the Packers beating the Vikings. I actually didn't think, honestly, that they would do it as bad as they did. 42 to 10. The Packers get the win on Thursday. The pick was on the JM Sports Show Facebook page, and on, I believe it was on Twitter. Don't forget to like the JM Sports Show page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Links will be in the description. That way you won't miss a pick. All right, with the 1-0. Well, first of all, I do want to say that we did go 8-5 last week, so we are 9-5 in our last 14 games. So we are 35 and 26 on the year, 628, 392, and 2 is the lifetime record. Once again, remember, still only picking games straight up. Now, the last couple weeks have been extremely long winded. I'm not in the mood to go long winded, so I'm not going to get as in depth as I normally do. But I am still going to obviously do what I have to do, and here we go. We kick things off with the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants. Falcons come in 2 and 2, Giants come in 2 and 2. The Giants have won 2 straight. Now, a lot of people, including me, I was guilty after week 1 and even week 2 of jumping and saying that the Giants are just bad. The Giants are in trouble. And the truth is, they're not. Okay, they figured it out. I still don't think they're great, but they're okay. Meanwhile, you've got Atlanta. Atlanta, I believe, is missing 4 guys in the offensive line. They're bad right now offensively. They're really banged up. They didn't play well against the Vikings last week. They don't play well on the road. Matt Ryan does not play well on the road. Hasn't really at all in his career. I do have the Giants beating the Falcons in this game. We have the Bills and the Lions. Bills come in 2 and 2. The Lions come in 3 and 1. I'm a little bit nervous to make this pick here, and I will tell you why. The Lions are still the Lions. Okay, they are eventually going to falter. They've got big wins against the Packers and the Jets the last 2 weeks. They barely escaped the Jets last week. Um, that they're just the Lions are still the Lions. They're eventually going to falter, and I'm interested to see. The big problem I think with Buffalo was honestly EJ Manuel. I know a lot of people have said that, and I agree with it. I think EJ Manuel. I said it last week. I think EJ Manuel has regressed. Obviously, they're not going with EJ Manuel this week. They're going with Kyle Orton. Kyle Orton is a very capable quarterback, and we know that because of his success in Chicago. Now we've seen that people like Matt Flynn, just because you are, talented in one place like Matt Flynn was in Green Bay, doesn't mean that you can be in another place like Matt Flynn wasn't in Seattle. Uh, but I think, he's got some talent to work with here. Kyle Orton still is capable. Kyle Orton does definitely have talent to work with in Buffalo, even though I don't think Sammy Watkins has quite panned out the way the Bills thought. He's still young, and, he's only 4 weeks into his career, going into 5. I do think he'll get better. He's got some talent. I do have the Lions winning this game. I'm not extremely comfortable about it because I know that eventually the Lions are going to pull a Detroit Lions. The Chicago Bears, Carolina Panthers. Now, let's not overreact to the Bears here. Okay, the Bears, yes, did not play well against the Packers last week. The Bears defensively have struggled, but the Bears do have a couple of good wins, including against the Jets on Monday night, even though it was a struggle. Let's face it, the Jets are a good team, but we'll talk more about the Jets when we get to the Jets game. Um, Meanwhile, you look at Carolina, and Carolina has some major personnel issues. Okay, Carolina hasn't played well the last couple weeks. They got stomped by Pittsburgh. They got stomped by Baltimore. I don't think they get stomped in this game, but I do have the Bears getting the win. Quarterback battle. I'm going to take Cutler over Cam Newton. Bears not happy after the game last week against the Packers, and the Bears really in a must-win situation. I do have the Bears getting the win. Cleveland and Tennessee. Cleveland 1 and 2. Tennessee 1 and 3. Okay, I shouldn't say I was extremely high on Tennessee, but I was honestly impressed with what I saw from Tennessee in their first game of the year against Kansas City. But then again, I think we've seen, that Kansas City is not a great team. So Tennessee has definitely had their issues. Jake Locker is not your ideal quarterback. Uh, Honestly, if I had to pick a quarterback here, I'd pick Brian Hoyer. I don't think I'd pick Johnny Manziel, but I'd pick Brian Hoyer as the better quarterback here. Cleveland is the better team. There's not much to say about this game. I mean, to be honest, it's Cleveland, Tennessee. Neither of these teams are really going to blow your mind by any means. I do have Cleveland winning the game. Next up, we have Houston and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I was wrong on the Dallas Cowboys, and I feel a little premature in saying that, but I'll say it anyway. I was wrong on the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have really showed that they could possibly have something. Okay, they're not a great team. They're not a great team. They're not a great team at home. Dallas seems to struggle at home, to be honest, sort of, and I shouldn't say they struggle, but they don't beat teams probably the way that they should. Houston is not a bad team. They're 3-1. They're not the best team in the league and certainly not the best team in their division, but they are a good team. I do have Dallas winning, but winning close. Baltimore and the team that I do believe is the best team in the AFC South, and that is Indianapolis. Now, this I think is going to be a pretty competitive game. You have two really good teams in Baltimore and Indianapolis. Once again, I think it really comes down to quarterback play. If it came down to defensive play, I think Baltimore would win all day. Indianapolis has a bad defense. But once again, quarterback play, I'm going to go, I take Andrew Luck all day with that. I'm going to go with the Colts to beat the Ravens. St. Louis and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, really good team. I think in Philadelphia on a neutral field, I think the Eagles beat the 49ers. They lost last week in San Francisco. I think they beat the 49ers, like I said, at home or on a neutral field. Philadelphia is a really good team. St. Louis just isn't. I'm going with the Eagles. Rams still, even though they know who their starting quarterback is going to be in Austin Davis, still a little bit of there at the quarterback position. Like I said, going with Philadelphia. Tampa Bay and the New Orleans Saints. It is a division battle here in New Orleans. New Orleans has some issues going on right now. But you know what? Tampa Bay is really not much better. Tampa Bay getting a big win against Pittsburgh last week. I don't think they repeat. It's tough to say that they'd repeat against the Saints in Tampa Bay. It's really tough to say that they'd repeat against the Saints at the Superdome. I am going to go with the Saints to win that football game. Pittsburgh and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is still Jacksonville. I do think Blake Bortles is going to be a good quarterback. I think he obviously has a little ways to go as he is still in the learning process here. Jacksonville has just had a tough year. Their closest loss was their closest game was the 34-17 game in week 1. I do think that Jacksonville could be close to their next win, possibly next week. I don't think it's this week. Pittsburgh was embarrassed by Tampa Bay last week. I I see Pittsburgh coming out rather aggressive in this game. I don't think Pittsburgh has back-to-back bad performances against non-stellar football teams, especially with Pittsburgh losing last week in Pittsburgh. Like I said, they're not going to be happy. I do have the Steelers winning this game and winning it comfortably. Next up, we have Arizona and Denver. I think this game is going to be close. Okay, no matter who the Cardinals are at quarterback, it's time to say that the Cardinals are a good football team. They're a viable football team. They're not a mirage. They're here to stay. They're here to be good. I don't think they're better than Seattle. I do think right now they're better than San Francisco. So I do think it'll be close. I think in the end, though, Carson Palmer, I believe, plans to come back from the injury. Is he going to be 100%? Give me Peyton Manning in that instance, but give it to me close. close football game there. This is a horrible video. It is way too early in the morning to be doing this. I'm tired. Kansas City and San Francisco. Once again, I think this game has the potential to be a little bit closer. There is a lot of stuff going on in San Francisco right now. Uh, Jim Harbaugh is not a very popular guy in San Francisco among management. I don't think he is among players either. I think his act is wearing very thin. There was a brilliant article, and maybe I'll put a link in the description if I think about it when I upload the video. I can't remember who did it. Like I said, maybe I'll put a link in the description, but I can still find the article. There was a brilliant article done on Harbaugh that really explains why perhaps the act is wearing thin. Kansas City, huge win last week against New England in a way that I did not see that happening. Kansas City, I don't think is going to upset the Niners here. I do have the Niners getting the win. I do think it has a potential to be close. It's going to depend on how high Kansas City is off their win last week against the Patriots. Next up, we have the New York Jets and the San Diego Chargers. A lot of people are calling trap game here. Um, I don't necessarily know that it's a trap game, but I do think it's a close game. Okay, San Diego has a hard time running the football because they're pretty banged up. The Jets' defense is good. It's time to admit it. The Chargers' pass rush is not as good. Okay, I think that, and that means, the Jets have, the Chargers rather have a good pass rush, not a great pass rush. Geno Smith is going to have time. He's going to have time to dance around. He's going to have time to make plays. I do think San Diego gets the win here, but I think if they do, they squeak it out. Cincinnati and New England is our next game here. It's in New England, and a lot of people are screaming Cincinnati easy. I do believe Cincinnati is one of the best teams in the league. However, New England is not going to stay bad forever. I know that their talent's not going to get any better. New England is certainly not a Super Bowl contender, not an AFC Championship contender, but it's prime time game. New England, I can't see them having back-to-back horrible games under the Belichick era, especially like I said in prime time. I do have New England winning. I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be good, but I have New England winning. And our Monday night game, Seattle and Washington. Once again, said it a lot for this week. I think it'll be a tight football game. Um, I This is going to be a good week of NFL football. Here's the deal: if it was in Seattle, I would say big difference. I would say Seattle probably blows out Washington. Let's be honest about Seattle. Away from Seattle, they're not a great team. Washington got embarrassed on Thursday night against the Giants last week. They're not going to be as bad as they were. Kirk Cousins is not as bad. And if for some reason you just saw Kirk Cousins for the first time last Thursday, he is not as bad as he played against the Giants. Washington's a good team. They've got some good personnel. Like I said, Seattle seems to struggle a little bit on the road. I do think Seattle wins the game 31-27. I'm not going to do a lock of the week this week. I'm not scared to do a lock of the week. I don't really have one that I'm comfortable with. So like I said, I'm not going to do a lock of the week. A lot of close games. I think Sunday and Saturday are going to be great days for football. I think college football looks to be great on Saturday. Those picks will be coming up. I'm really sorry that this video is so bad. I mean, not as good. Like I said, I'm tired. I don't feel good. So I'm not at the top of my game, not making excuses. I'm sure that somebody's going to say that I am, but truth is I'm not. This video has gotten longer than I wanted it to, so I'm going to cut it off here. College football picks will come up. Actually, I shouldn't say that because college football picks will probably be uploaded first because they happen first. So college football picks, they're on the channel already, I'm pretty sure. So go ahead and check them out if you're interested in those as well. Don't forget to like the JM Sports Show page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That is going to do it for me. I am Jonathan was up for JM Sports 100 in the JM Sports Show, and I will see you guys later.